Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to Jaye's One Key World Cup. We are underway with the round of 16 weekend. We have finished up the round of 24. We have eliminated 8 teams, and the remaining 8 have moved up to the winners round of 16, where we're going to be beginning the first of a lot of matches this weekend. And we're going to start off with a pretty big match. Australia A, our 2nd seed, versus Peru, our 15 seed. Peru having to defeat Vietnam in the round of 24 to get here, while Australia A did get a bye for round of 24. Going to be a very interesting match. My name is Sunny. Commentating along with me is Teezel. Teezel, how's it going?
Hey, things are going really good. So great to see that we finally made it to the round of 16. It felt like a pretty long journey to get here, but we've got loads of really good matches for this weekend, I think. Maybe not quite the closest in seeding, but we've got a lot more difficult pool compared to last week. So, and we're actually going to be seeing our top 8 seeded teams playing this week. So I think it's going to produce some pretty interesting kind of new statistics, I think, to take into consideration going forward. And of course, just starting off with the second seed already, you know, theoretically, the second strongest team in the whole tournament. You know, what are they going to be doing in this match? And how are the lower seeded teams such as Peru going to be handling this as well? It's a pretty big step up, so let's see how it goes.
I mean, Australia A does have the knowledge of what Peru has gone for their previous match against Vietnam. If you do look back, I'm pretty sure Peru focused more on that rice side of things. I know their SV is pretty strong for their team, one of the outstanding marks. And I'm pretty sure Rice as well with Alamagno's really good accuracy. And I believe Brunix as well, performing very well alongside Alamagno, if I'm correct with them being on the same team. I'll have to double check that. Yeah, those two being strong Rice staples for Peru. Definitely kind of the dynamic duo when it came to Rice picks against Vietnam. But when you see someone like Sparks in the lobby, things definitely kick up a couple notches.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Seed 1 player in Joke 1, so quite a while ago, and then transferring over to the hosting role. Still, of course, a very, very good player, proving that as they played, I believe, every single map in the qualifiers, helping Australia A get that second seed. And, you know, even though that they've been kind of hosting for the past couple of years, Joke 2 and Joke 3, they've been playing a lot as well. They've had to be test playing all of these maps all the way up to grand finals and setting replays for the showcases and that. So their skill is absolutely not gotten any worse, to say, in those years as well. And it seems like the rest of Australia A has been putting in a lot of work as well, trying to catch up to Sparks' skills. And, you know, so far it's been paying off, but, you know, we've got a wider pool here, a lot more different skill sets represented. And, you know, about the same difficulty, maybe a bit more difficult compared to qualifiers, so we'll see how the other players hold up.
Yeah, Sparks definitely kind of following or kind of leading the other four players on the side of Australia A, but never count those players out. There are some very well-known players on that on this five-person team: Iron, Blobby, Richie, and Foolhearted. I'm pretty sure Richie has done some mapping, I believe, in some of the Joke tourneys. I remember seeing their name around. I think one of their maps was featured in the qualifiers, if I'm correct, of One Key World Cup. I have to look back and see what map that was. Yeah, it was Burnt Rice, so that's Joke 1, I think. No, Joke 2.
Joke 2.
That's Joke 2. So then again, kind of with Sparks, definitely have been helping a lot with the staffing side of things. So Richie being in the One Key scene for quite a while, because Joke 2 was 2 years ago, I think?
Richie also played in Joke 1. He was the player that knocked me out of the tournament, actually. He got to the second stage of quarterfinals losers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so with Australia having lots of history with some of these players playing in earlier editions of Jaye's One Key events, or just having a good, or just having a really strong One Key history, they definitely will they're definitely going to put up a hefty match against Peru. Getting underway with the warm-ups first off, and assuming this is mapped by Sparks, I would not be surprised if this is Australia A's warm-up.
Yeah, I've just realized that some of our players are in the wrong spots. Bruni's supposed to be playing for Peru and Blobby's supposed to be playing for Australia A, but that is the warm-up, so I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, just a map to kind of just warm up warm up those fingers, get that spacebar ready to go for the actual real deal. And we can see right now actually that like you mentioned though, these slots are a bit messed up. I believe Blobby is representing, or I'm pretty sure 3 out of the 4 players besides Alan Magno are representing Australia A. So Blobby and Sparks holding up very well on a pretty dense beat map, 185 BPM with these more speedy base patterns. This is definitely not what we would have in round of 16. This is like probably semifinals, finals type stuff, and seeing Sparks and Blobby
this would be like finals, grand finals maybe.
Just absolutely cruising through this. It's gonna definitely concern Peru for a bit, but for now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some players kind of just take their hands off the keyboard, kind of just rest their fingers for a bit, because oh boy, this definitely looks stamina draining.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the difficulty kind of scaling that in one key, you don't actually see that many 5-star maps. I believe in Joke 2 there was only a handful of 5-star plus maps. Maybe like 2 or 3 if that, if you include the Grand Finals tiebreaker as well. But in Joke 3, the vast majority of the Grand Finals pool was 5-star, so kind of showcase that increase in player skill. What was needed to actually separate the players in terms of how far they could really push it. So this is absolutely a very, very difficult map in comparison to kind of what else there is in the 1-key scene.
Yeah, and the map is coming to an end. Very, very solid performances from everybody, especially with this being way out of proportion of what we have for the speed pick. I believe that's Lies, which is extremely slower than this. This is kind of just Lies on DT, pretty much.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, the bursts really pick up on the speed.
Yeah.
Oh! Speed.
Are we seeing an Endymion warm-up? Okay.
Yeah, quite a speedy kind of streamy-ish map as well.
This is Joke 2, right? This is Joke 2 finals, I think? Or semis?
Sounds about right. Semis or finals?
I'm actually a really huge fan of this map.
It's a good one. They did make the love pack for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. This is... I would call this a hybrid, honestly. I'm pretty sure it was meant to... Oh, actually, no. There's only like 30 sliders, so it's more only just a rice pick. But I thought, like, the entire time those were short LNs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one thing. Like, you get hybrid maps, and then you'll get some where it's just... you might as well just be a race map because of the way that the LNs are, but you know, when you're working with limited space, you've got to work with what you have, you know?
Yes. What better thing to do with lemons than make lemonade is basically what's going on here.
Yeah. Alright, so confirmation is Joke 1 semifinals.
Yeah, Joke 1 semis. And also, one thing that stands out when I was playing this, when I was in my 1-key training arc for this tourney, this is OD10.
Yo.
And I'm pretty sure...
that should have been the indication that it was Joke 1. Yeah, the ODs were pretty unhinged back then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in round of 24 there was a couple OD10 charts. I know Killer Song is one of them. I believe that was Joke 1 qualifiers, and then Center Piercing was also Joke 1. Yep. So if you see any OD10, that's basically just a red herring that this is a Joke 1 map.
Yeah, absolutely. Just back in the day where, you know, accuracy is kind of important. We don't want column locks, so let's just make everything really high. Kind of all learned that it wasn't too necessary.
And it looks like we got everyone back in their proper slots. Blobby and Iron on the Australia A side, while we're going to see Brunix join in to represent the second Peruvian player for this warm-up.
Yeah, it looks like Australia are having a really, really good time on this map. Both players still in the full combo, more than almost halfway into the map.
Yeah, this map is very tricky. Lots of these triplets could definitely screw up your run if you are not careful, and then that LN just to kind of top it. and then this long speed section with that transition out of those LNs. Definitely, this is definitely a point where I see lots of like mess ups happen, especially just transitioning in and out on these patterns, especially on OD10. There's kind of just so much happening where everything's being thrown at you in this beat map.
It looks so easy, and theoretically it is also just really easy, but it just misses come out of nowhere, just like Blobby's there.
Yeah, and this map is definitely a very interesting beat map. A pretty fun map if you get the gimmick, and a couple bit of triplets to end off this map. And is that an FC from Iron?
Looks like it.
Nice. An FC from Iron. 986 as well. That's actually really good. Only 4 200s. Kind of just showing off how good they are at one key. I mean, they're definitely a one. I'm pretty sure they hold 4th place on this actual, like, on the loved map.
I think so, yeah. Alamagno did really well too for Peru. Only 3 misses. 950.
Yeah, really good score from Alamagno. And Blobby as well. Only 1 miss, 15 200s. Very good. Brunix trying their hardest, but probably just not having that. Probably not having the confidence around the more, like the more heavy patterns. I mean, this is 220 BPM.
Yeah,
and it looks like we're going to see Peru winning the roll, which means they will be getting that first pick, and Australia A will be getting that first ban. Wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to limit the possibilities for Peru, and we're going to see a Rice 4 ban from Australia A. Definitely makes sense. Guitar versus piano, a pretty long chart. I'm pretty sure that's over 4 minutes.
It is.
And especially with how good Peru's Rice is, you don't want to give them much possibilities, and there it is. We're gonna see the speed ban. This is definitely gonna be an oncoming pattern in these future matches. I would assume so. Wide Light Lies is very uncomfortable.
Makes sense for Peru to ban that one. So yeah, nothing too crazy here. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and it is now Peru's pick. Honestly, with SV being less than a minute long, and with how, I mean, I played like only like the first like 5 seconds of it, but this map is actually like very, very interesting for just being under a minute. Wouldn't be surprised if Peru has some solid scores on that and would try to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. SV is just generally a good pick for that. It comes down a lot to practice. Generally, they happen to be the less mechanically intense maps of the pool. So, something that favors just the lower seeded team in general, but they still have to put in the practice for it. But they're going to stick to their strengths, they're going to go with Rice 1.
Yeah, so they're going to go for Dragon and Girl and Decoherence, I believe is how that is pronounced.
This is a kind of a feature of a different mapper that you wouldn't really expect to see. This map is by
Juan Crystal.
They got a couple of celebrity mappers in here.
Yeah, Juan Crystal, more well known for their 4-key long note charting. Kind of just having a little cameo in Joke.
Yeah, gotta try everything at least once. And I believe they did only make 1 map, so maybe it wasn't for them. But that's okay. It is a good map though. This map has a very, very challenging section towards the end, where we transition between 1-4 and 1-3 stream, with no break in between. It goes back and forth between them a couple of times.
More or less just going to be a test of how well can you transition in and out with with a very next to no kind of room to breathe. Like you mentioned, there's not really much time given to the player to actually adapt to the different pattern changes. And they're just seeing an early break from Alamagno out of this opening section, giving Australia A a tiny bit of lead to work with already early out of this map.
Fortunately, it's possible to recover from a miss like that though on this map. If both the players on the side of Australia A kind of struggle with those transitions and start dropping a lot of 200s, that lead will go back over to the side of Peru if they are able to hold on to the accuracies themselves.
Yeah, as Alamagno is recovering very well from that miss, already back up to roughly where everyone is, about 60 combo trailing behind everyone else, 99.1 from that miss, and getting to a little bit of a break section. Around roughly 19,000 points on the side of Australia A. Brunix trying their hardest to hold the ground for Peru, for Alamagno to climb back up, 99.7, trying to match up with likings of the lobby, while Iron is kind of just doing their own thing, still above that 99.9 range. Here comes a little bit of a change in timing. I believe
this is the section I was talking about, yeah. So this is 1-3 and it goes back to 1-4, back to 1-3, 1-4.
Yeah,
everyone's doing incredibly well.
I saw some dragging. I believe that was Alamagno that actually dropped a couple 200s on that transition from 1-3 to 1-4. And
yeah,
here we go.
Below 99% now.
Back with these kind of changing of snappings again. I believe that's 1-2 going into 1-4 with these triplets. And there's actually a drop from Blobby, but I believe that's one miss too late, especially with Alamagno finding those breaks. If Alamagno did not drag on that 1-3 to 1-4 transition, that actually probably would have been way closer. But unfortunately, Australia A will be taking the first break point of this match, especially with that 997 from Iron, only 31 300s. That is insane.
Yeah, bringing out the really crazy accuracy for this one. So Iron has very much proved himself to be a player that does incredibly well on the really crazy speed stuff and like dump charts that have been created in Monkey over the past couple of years. But they very clearly showcased over the past couple of weeks as well that hasn't gotten in the way of their lower star rating skill. They are consistently being able to set like some of the best scores kind of so far that we've been seeing in the tournament across the first week that we've seen them, and so far this week as well. So clearly an incredibly strong player.
We're going into SV.
Australia being the one to pick it, though.
I mean,
so
I'm
perhaps
pretty
that's what
sure
we're maybe hoping for, or they were saving it.
I'm pretty sure Australia placed. I'm pretty sure Australia placed first on SV and qualifiers, so it definitely makes sense they want to go for that.
Just depends on whether they've practiced this one enough, and I imagine they probably have if they're picking it first here.
Yeah. Also, another mapper you would not expect to be mapping one key, Hydria, charting this one.
Yeah, so Hydria, of course, very well known just in the Mania community in general. A lot of mapping, a lot of modding. I believe they're a BN, maybe even more than that. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. They've been
around for quite a while, Hydria. You can basically see them anywhere. And they actually have a bit of history with SV charting. And this is Joke round of 64. And I remember in the showcase, you categorized the 3 SV maps that were on the board, which was like good, okay, and then really bad. And this was the really bad category map.
Yeah, so, I don't think Hydra necessarily did a bad job with what they were given to work with. This song just kind of lends itself to the most awkward chart possible. And we'll be seeing that just now over the course of the next 51 seconds. It's very start and stop, it feels very unintuitive.
Yeah, especially with like these like tricky slowdowns that kind of fake you out, and then there's this complete stop and immediate teleport. Lots of lots of tricky sections that definitely focus more. Like, of course, you can probably hit this very well in maybe like your third attempt, but you're gonna have to focus on that accuracy side of things, and that is what's giving Australia this very long or this very huge lead, already almost at 200,000 points, especially with how short this map is, and Dinky missing on that slow LN. Oh my goodness! And in the blink of an oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, see, this is. You know, it's like, oh wow, a score difference of 259,000. But like, with the style of map this is, like, you know, our best play was only a 979 on that. Second best play at 951, also a 919. Like, because there's less than 100 notes, like, every single, like, non-rainbow you're getting just tanks your score so much.
Yeah, and just overall in, like, just SV in general, definitely has a reputation for having a low note count. Like, even when it comes to other key modes like 4 key or 7 key, especially when it comes to like to 4 key SV, because that's what I'm more well known with. Their beat maps like have a really small note count, and especially less than 100 notes in like a 51-second long beat map definitely gives for such low scores, but insanely good judgments. Hence what we saw. But it's back to Peru's pick, and they could probably try to go for another one of those Rice picks. They have 2 more to go. They have Atropos and Methius, and they're actually going to go for LN, so they're going to go for Treat.
Interesting. This map is pretty tricky. This is the Joke 3, I believe, round of 16 LN? LN1, I think it was.
Yeah, you would be correct.
Yeah, so this one, it kind of takes the concept of Lemon and just kind of makes it even more difficult. So it has your LN kind of every half beat, but the LNs have a lot more variety in their length. So release timing becomes really, really important to keep the accuracy high and keep the ratio high. So I'm very much expecting to see probably all of our players pick up a couple of 200s, because it is really difficult to stay consistent on it. But if we do get a V1 double S, you know, I don't think that's impossible for our players here.
Yeah, especially both these teams having good potential. And with this map only being 110 BPM, definitely slower than I believe with Turbo. I believe Turbo is a tad bit faster than this, which is the alternative 1 key pick or long no chart. That's 128. But with Turbo, it has a more easier concept. It's very, very simple to learn. And I believe in this being round of 16. That map's round of 32. So here we go. Underway with Treat.
Yeah, starting off pretty simple. But it kind of gives a bit of a taste of what's to come.
This is kind of giving me like high score type vibes. If you just play along to the song, you should be good.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Because I remember that's what mainly high score was. If you just play along to the song, you will do extremely good. And so far, everybody's doing extremely good. But Brunix, as I say that, finding an early break will give a roughly 12,000 to 13,000 point lead on the side of Australia A. But we haven't even reached the drop section yet, and underway with the drop, as they were covering pretty well from that
so we have a mixture of really, really short LNs and much longer LNs with really tight timing releases to the next note. So it's this really like awkward kind of making sure that you don't overhold one and under tap the other.
Yeah, and so far Australia A holding up very well, and while Peru trying their hardest, especially with these 98.4s and 98.2, I believe Alamagno might have dropped on that triplet that was kind of just sprinkled in that long note wall there, but yeah, there's not much map left to go, and it looks like Australia A will be taking their second breakpoint of this match, and it'll be making things a 3-0 lead. And Iron, oh my goodness, I'm scared to see this score. 996. Oh my, and a 992 from Blobby, a double 990 on Australia's side. And props to Brunix for trying their hardest as well. Only 2 bads. That's actually really good.
That's
Choking
like
that
the
D1
ratio is
double S.
better than Alabagno's.
Yeah, really good ratio from Brunix and Alamagno. And Alamagno actually holding on to the FC as well. 977, despite the ratio. Really good score. Trying to have really controlling that 200 count quite well. But unfortunately, it just was that those slider breaks from Brunix, and with just Australia A having the better ratio and accuracy overall.
Yeah, Peru are handling this significantly more difficult pool extremely well. They're outputting really strong scores as a team. But unfortunately for them, they are against the second seed, who are just doing that wee bit better, and they're just not quite able to keep up. But you know, Australia still needs 2 points to win. They're going to start off with a hybrid one,
Ooh,
so perhaps it's Peru's time to come back.
And oh my goodness, Rushmore. This is Joke 3 qualifiers.
Yep. Yeah, this was a really fun map to practice. It's it's got quite a lot of tricky sections.
I enjoyed this map when I played it.
Yeah, one of the main things that stand out to me is the 1-6 bursts. They're decently isolated in that, but they are so easy to trip up on.
It's kind of like that Burnt Rice remix from last round, from round of 24. That kind of have those 1-6 kind of just sprinkled in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it has a very, I mean, despite those 1-6 bursts, there's not really much about this map to write home about. And we're going to see the same roster from last map, Blobby and Iron for the side of Australia A, Alamagno and Brunix for the side of Peru, and some triplets before we head into the first major section, where it's kind of just, can you hold these triplets, and then those 1-6 kind of being the cherry on top, some doublets as well. And there's a miss from Alamagno, but Blobby trades it back. And some Burnt Rice sections,
as well,
but there's
finding a miss.
And there's another miss from Brunix, not going to benefit Peru. And there's another one missing on those transitions. But we have a little bit of a break section. This definitely will give Brunix an opportunity to climb that accuracy up. And you can see right now they are climbing up at a really huge rate right now. Already almost reaching that 98 section. And Iron is just doing Iron things right now.
Blobby with another miss.
Yeah, into the final, in this final section where we see the 1-6 really going in its prime now. Brunix finding another miss, and Alamagno now, no more FCs on the side of Peru. Only one more FC remaining, and that's from Iron. That's been holding the ground very well.
Blobby finds a miss of their own. Score difference is almost 100,000 though in favor of Australia A, and we're coming down towards the outro now. I believe Iron picked up a single 200 there.
Yeah, I did see that 200 from Iron, but still holding on to the 99.9. Oh my. I am frightened to see this.
Oh my god.
And just like that, Australia will be put to match point 31! You can't be doing this!
Yeah, this is what I mean. Iron has really quickly risen up to be one of the strongest players of Monkey, like, as a whole. And, you know, they're mostly focusing on the really difficult stuff, but on the lower star rating stuff, like, they're incredible.
That is a really strong score from Iron, and very strong scores overall off of just everyone. Blobby with those misses, but a really good ratio, and a solid 200 count as well, only 3. And with those misses from Alamagno and Brunix, despite those having solid 200 counts as well, and Alamagno with only that 1 miss. But now Peru's kind of being pushed against the, kind of getting cornered now, as things are looking very risky for them now, as it is now a match point situation for Australia A. But it is their pick, and they're going to go for what they're comfortable with most, and they're going to head for Rice too.
Yeah, makes sense here. It's a pretty standard map from what I remember. Nothing too crazy going on. Pretty consistent Rice. It is kind of speedy though, 195 BPM. But I think we've seen just based off of other maps that this should be okay for our players here. Unfortunately, the OD is a bit lower in this one as well, so should hopefully help out with the ratios as well. And we have a player swap. We have Dinky coming in.
And I believe this is Joke 2, round of 16.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Kind of just hearing this map, I actually haven't seen it, but it sounds like it has some 1/4 streams mixed in with 1/6 bursts, especially at 195 BPM.
I don't believe it has 1/6. I think it is just like a fairly streamy map because one key star rating just is pretty much entirely calculated based off of density. So streams are always kind of going to be around 4 stars, depending on the BPM, of course. So it's just like dense, consistent Rice.
Yeah, pretty much. I would like to say that this is pretty much like this could have been charted as a speed pick, but instead it was more or less just kind of a Rice pick. But overall, this map, I would not be surprised if everyone has really good accuracies on it. Just looking through, kind of just like going through the editor on this, you can see that not very much besides just some triplets and then just some 195 stream patterns that more or less just focus on your accuracy more than your actual consistency and how well you can hold on those transitions for. But here we go, underway with this map, and this is the closest we've seen these teams. Oh my goodness, wait a second. Iron choking up on those triplets.
Peru has a proper lead for the first time this match, and it's exactly where they need it as well.
Yeah, that was not a very pleasant beginning for Iron, but they have lots of maps to climb back on, but we're already a quarter of the map done. As we get into more of these triplets and these more like speedy based patterns, and Alamagna with Dinky combo reset, and now that lead's gonna go on the side of Australia A. As Iron
Fortunately, they do keep their accuracies high. Dinky with another miss though.
Yeah, and with that miss, that lead climbs over to 20,000 points now on the side of Australia A. Mainly with Blobby holding on very well, helping, kind of giving Australia still some sign of life after that Iron miss. 99.97 from them, oh my goodness. And Dinky, even with that one miss, or those couple misses above that 99 section, they still have a bit more of the map left to go. Alamagna as well matching up, or trying to match up with the likings of Blobby, but they have a long way to go. Still managing to cancel out Iron's accuracy, and some of these triplets now back present, as this is what Iron slipped up on, but they look to have recovered very well now, back up to that 99 range. 40,000 points in the favor of Australia, as it looks like if we don't see any more monumental breaks on the side of Australia A, that looks to be it.
Yeah, sadly, Peru are holding on so well. They're so ready to take any mistakes that Australia does make. But we're in the outro now. I don't think there's enough time. Even if there was a double miss now, it's not going to be enough to make up 44,000 score.
Yeah, and just like that, Australia A will be sweeping Peru 5-0, 17! 999 from Blobby! And even then, we look at Peru's side, like Dinky and Alamagno put up really good scores, and even with Iron's rough beginning, they actually managed to outscore both the Peruvian players, which is actually just jaw-dropping to see. And only getting 34 300s as well. Very good score from Iron. Peru put up one giant effort as well, trying their hardest to at least kind of put a match, and they did. they put up one hell of a match against Australia A. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as Australia A will be punching their ticket to the winners quarterfinals. But it is not the end of the line for Peru. They will have to progress through the rest of the tournament in the losers quarterfinals. I believe they will be going up against the loser of Malaysia A or the Italian Plumbers.
Yeah, so even though Peru is seed 15, I think based off what we've just seen in this match, they've been practicing really hard, and those scores are really good, and absolutely can and will beat other team scores this weekend. Can't quite compare it now because all those matches are still waiting to happen. Pretty much all on Sunday, but I have really high hopes for them. I think they can probably win a couple of matches.
Yeah, like, especially with seeing how Peru did against a seeded 2 team, like, fear them in the losers bracket. They will definitely be a tank in the losers bracket. But for now, we're going to be taking a hefty break. We'll be back in roughly 10 hours from now to stream United States C versus 99% Canadian at 0 UTC Sunday. So then again, in roughly 10 hours, well, now 9 hours. But for now, we will be signing off for now. Teezel, do you have anything else to close off the stream with?
Nothing. Just hope you enjoy the matches for this weekend, because as you can see, we've got a lot more to come. So yeah, stick around for that, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, and that will be all for us. We will see you guys at 0 UTC. Goodbye.